and I say this respectfully, and listen to where I'm about to go. I've actually run into Andre and dealt with Andre and even taken care of Andre a few times over the years, Mike. Andre 3000.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet in life, Mike. Like, forget music. Like, have you ever talked to him before? I've actually had the pleasure of having a few conversations with him over the years.
I've never met him. I've heard the same thing, though.
I've met him a few times. I worked the birthday party that he had at the job that we used to have at Dave & Buster's, where him and Badu had Seven's birthday party back there. I talked to him and Erica that day. He's a super nice guy. He frequents a place up here on my side of town. I believe one of his business managers or cohorts or whatever used to live up on this side of town close to where I'm at. He used to come into a place I used to work when I was putting myself through college. Super nice. My spot that I used to run down in Midtown when I came back from Cali. He used to come in there. I used to talk to him all the time. Super, super nice guy. One of the best people that you'll ever meet. Like, forget the music stuff. Aquemini is not as impactful as it should be because he doesn't talk about Aquemini and hold Aquemini up high or make himself available for it to be what it should be, because we know Big Boy is already there about all things Dungeon Family, Outkast, South. You know what I'm saying? Dungeon Family, Outkast, South, Big Boy is right. What you need?
Right.
Who need a verse down here? Who need a verse down here? Who down here need a verse from me? That's done. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So Aquemini has the misfortune of having its superstar not revel in its glory.
Do you think that the score suffers from similar things?
Yes.
Because I just remember the score being the shit in the 90s, early 2000s, and I feel like the legacy of the score over the years has dropped. And it's crazy to me.
The impact's not the same when the artist doesn't revel in the glory, and also when the artist does not really go out and perform the songs as they were constituted. As in order for, and this is, listen to what I'm about to say, and I realize this, and I mean this with all due respect. You know why Southern Playalistic and ATLiens and Aquemini are not held as high as time goes along? Because they have not been performed.
No, that's 100%.
And they have not been reveled in.
There's no re-releases.
Think about how many times DMX, God rest his soul, has performed Get At Me Dog or Stop Being Greedy.
Yeah.
To make sure that it's dark and hell is hot, not just musically in terms of being able to go back and listen to it, but how many times he went out and performed it live for people long after the record had stopped being played on radio on a regular basis. Mike, you get what I'm saying?
Even when you think about Tribe, like, you know what I'm saying? Even when Q-Tip and Phife weren't seeing eye to eye, they would go out there individually performing Tribe stuff. Q-Tip would go out there perform Tribe stuff on his own. They would come back together even if they were conflicted, or not conflicted, but if they weren't agreeing, it'd be on one side of the stage, Phife would be on the other side of the stage, keeping these songs alive. And even though Phife's not here anymore, still doing that.
I'm going to say this respectfully, too, when I say this. And I love Phife. It matters more when Q-Tip does that, because Q-Tip's the front man and the star in the people's eyes. Like, it don't even matter how you feel, even if you think Phife's a better MC. In the people's eyes,
some people feel that way.
Q-Tip's the star. And so him going out and contributing to that helps keep it alive.
Oh, so you're saying if it were a situation where Phife was just out here keeping the Tribe songs alive,
it would not be the same.
It wouldn't be the same. I see what you're saying.
It would not be the same. And that's why it's not the same for Outkast. And that's why it's like, well, we're doing the top album, hip-hop albums of the 90s. Well, I know Aquemini is one of the best 10 rap albums that I ever heard, definitely, which means it should make the 90s. But when I looked at all the other impactful shit that's gotten to live on because the artists haven't performed it, embraced it, reveled in it. I'm going to say this again. Performed it over and over again. Like Prodigy would do Shook Ones and keep it thorough.
You're right.
And Quiet Storm.
That shit is necessary. Even if you think about LL Cool J. LL Cool J will go out there and do Rock the Bells.
LL will go do Lounging Right Now on your ass.
He'll do shit from the 80s. He keeps bad alive.
Think about this.
Yeah.
Lounging came out in 95, right between Southern Playalistic and ATLiens. LL will come out here and go do literally lounging, the I Shot Your remix, and Hey Lover right now. Now tell me that Big Boy and Andre are going to get together and come out and do Players Ball, Southern Playalistic, Hootie Hoo, Elevators, Over the Woods.
Last time they performed together was 8 years ago, and then before that, it was maybe
I was
15
there.
years before that. Yeah,
No. I was there the last time they performed.
Yeah.
Mike, I
12
still have
years.
wristbands. I still have the wristbands sitting in my safe, Mike, because I'm pretty certain that it's the last time.
Oh, it is.
I have so you know what? Tonight's the night, Mike. I'm just gonna cut this. Like there are like 7 smoke detectors in this house. This one's getting the hedge cut clippers tonight, Mike. It is. I can't.
Hassan Sykes with the super chat.
It's beeping, Mike, and the battery's not even in it. I don't even know what's going on. It's like a poltergeist.
Let me get to the super chats real quick. Hassan Sykes says, y'all need to rate Nas's hook game a 10 now. And you may need to change your rating for Nas, period. You know what? I think you might be right. DFW Herbie with the super chat says, you show off, I count off dough when you sample my voice. He did say that. It's around like the few Snickers. Nas designed your blueprint. Who you kidding? Into You Jams with the super chat says, there are 54 songs between KD1, KD2, Magic, and KD3. 40 of those songs he had no features, and we like them and we like them more than the ones that had features on them. This proves once and again that Nas can stand on his own. I mean, he's the greatest MC of all time. That's a great observation. Did you hear that one, Coop? Said 54 songs between KD1, KD2, Magic, and KD3. 40 of those he had no features on.
No, that's about right.
That's an incredible stat in a 2.5 year period.
Mike, that's the average clip for him. That's the clip that he works at. That's what I'm saying. Like, how many features are on the Illmatic?
No, I'm just talking about 54 songs in 2.5 years that were released is awesome. Period.
No, Mike, that's what I'm saying. That's the clip. It's like, go pay attention.
Yeah. LP with the super chat says, Speechless gave people tangled advice. Not just not just we need to do better rhymes. We need to do better rhymes. Sorry, it says WR. Spread your bets out, find different interests, and double down. Kendall Outlaw with the super chat says, how do you think Nas would have sounded on a Neptune beat? We've heard that before.
The Flyest Angels.
Yeah, Flyest Angels. Wasn't feeling it. Now, I do think this, though. This is what I'm going to say about the Neptunes in that period. I don't know if the way they were spreading themselves so thin, and I've heard Pharrell talk about this before, they changed up their sound because they just weren't using the same equipment anymore because that equipment didn't travel well. The stuff that they made in, I guess in their signature sound prime. But right. I think with them having to work with so many different people, they were just sending people tracks. I don't think they really had an opportunity to actually sit down with certain artists, Nas being one of them, and actually work. I truly believe if Pharrell and Chad actually were able to sit down with Nas and create, they could have came with something.
I don't know about that because they kicked it because Nas's whole Pharrell's the one that
introduced them.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, no, they done kicked it because it's like he's the one that told both of them that they should talk to each other.
That's the one thing about the Neptunes, though. There's certain people that they just click with, off top, and same thing with Timbaland too, on a different level. But there's certain people that they just can't get it right with. And
you want to know what I've learned too? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like T.I. is one of those people, too. And I know a lot of people say they like Freak, though, and they like, Pussy Pumping #1. I just feel like for the talent level they are and the talent level that he has been, they should have been able to make a song that matched both of those levels. And I feel like Pharrell continuously tries with T.I.
In Blurred Lines?
It's not his song though, but I feel you. If it was, then maybe. I mean, let's just be real. Did you feel that way
Blurred Lines was T.I.'s song?
Toop works the best with Tip.
That's just because we have What You Know.
I don't even think it's just that. I think even before that,
You thinking the mixtape shit?
Nah, I'm thinking of Dope Boys in the Trap. I
Mhm.
mean, from the jump, him and two, he
Who
made
did
You Don't Know
24s?
Me.
Who did 24s? He did 24s?
I think he did 24s too. He did You Don't Know Me. You know what I mean? Like, no, him and Toomp,
I like
yeah, they been clicking. And
A. Did he do ASAP and all that? Did he do all that stuff?
uh,
Eight. Eight.
my guy Chad, who went to high school with me, he made ASAP. Rest in peace to Chad. But I think that he made Motivation. So I'm gonna have to go back to the credits. But most of the songs that really sound like Tip,
Didn't you go to school with some of PSC?
I mean, PSC went to my high school.
Right, because
Yeah,
you know the homie Chris Hardaway. And Chris was like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah,
he's like,
yeah. Big Country K and all them, they went to Pebblebrook.
right.
Hmm.
West Side.
But yeah, I mean, so Toomp works with Tip the best, right? And I would say the second best producer for Tip is Jazzy Faye. I, it's,
I like the Jazzy Face stuff.
Jazzy Faye and T.I. come together pretty well for whatever reason.
You want to know what the collab that I always wonder why it didn't happen more is actually, Mike, was the David Banner collab. Because to be honest with you, when I heard Rubber Band Man, I was like, that was the collab that I wanted to see more of.
Well, that was the song that kind of launched him on a nationwide level.
That was the song that launched him nationwide. That's the song that got Puff in the video, I believe.
Yeah. Michael Vick was in that joint. Usher was in there.
Yeah, Rubber Band Man's that shit. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like 24s and Dope Boys. Like, that's some Atlanta
That was
shit.
local, but yeah.
Like, that's Atlanta. Like, and I feel you. Like, if you from here, especially around that time and that came out, oh, that's everything. But Mike, Rubber Band Man?
Dope Boys in the Trap is the record that carried him over.
Rubber Band Man was an anthem.
Yeah. I think, but Dope Boys in the Trap is the record that got him to trap music. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only record that sounded like that on I'm Serious. Mm-hmm. And from my experience in the clubs out here then, that was the only song that was getting played in Atlanta clubs. And I feel like he took the momentum from Dope Boys in the Trap and doubled down on it and made trap music. He found his direction. He changed his style up a little bit. I got to give him that, man. His flow on I'm Serious, his change from I'm Serious to trap music is one of the best changes we've seen in hip hop. That goes down with the whole blended on reality to the score type changing.
No, you're right, Mike, because it's like there's like one or two like great songs maybe on I'm Serious, and trap music has a ton of them.
And like I tell people who try to tell me, the people who try to tell me I'm Serious is a classic, I'll tell them, what songs does he perform from that album?
It's the vibe. It's a vibe to people if it came out around that time. I think people that were in high school specifically, because I think we were a little past high school when it came out. But for people who were in high school when I'm Serious came out, like that was their shit. Like Nostalgia's
cool, but let's just be perfectly honest. What song from that album does he perform?
You know, see,
none.
No, that doesn't necessarily mean. That does not necessarily mean that the stuff on there isn't all-time great necessarily, because I can go right back at you with Jay with Volume 1. It's like, well, why don't Jay do 1,000,001 Questions Round no more? Imaginary Players, Streets is Watching, Friend or Foe 98, You Must Love.
Jay does perform. He does perform one song on there, Where I'm From. He performs that.
He performs Where I'm From?
He performs Where I'm From.
That's my favorite song on the album when it came out, but that's still not enough for all that heat for 97 Hoes, and you know that.
That whole run that T.I. was on, he didn't perform a single song.
That would serve as a reminder and a mission statement. Imaginary Players is a mission statement.
You might hear 1,000,001, but Jay got a whole lot of records. Darren Harris with the super chat says, what keeps KD3 from being the best hip hop album of all time? 1 producer, 0 features, 16 cuts, no skips, diverse range of topics, super lyrical, just thoughts. I don't think it's one of the best hip hop albums of all time. I think it's one of the most impressive though, based on tenure in the game, 28 years in the game, putting out 4 albums in 2.5 years. That's impressive.
I told you I was expecting a top 50 rap album. I think I just got it.
I think it might be that. Yeah. Eric Terrell with the super chat says,
I mean, if what other person that's 28 years, 29 years into their craft is going to give you a top 50 album in their genre? I'll wait.
You're right. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, "Those Drake animations. Does that mean he's falling off hip hop top spot? Because they mad disrespectful." He's talking about those animations from Drake. He says that Drake falling off the spot. You know, this is what I'm gonna say about Drake's spot and him being the top spot in hip hop. It's very, I don't know, man. Like his quote unquote spot is very deceiving. I think Coop and I have been on this show and saying that, look, Drake hadn't really hit people with no real banger for real since when? Like, how long has it been? Because Scorpion really wasn't hitting like that. Let's be real. I think the last song that he really had that organically hit was Travis Scott's Sicko Mode. That shut shit down for a second. And it's like, I think that all we're quantifying his spot on is numbers. And if you're waiting for the numbers to fall off, that ain't gonna happen. Like, his numbers are always gonna be there.
I think it's more the notoriety even at this point than it is the numbers. And that's not to say like, do you like the Hurt Loss album?
It's cool. I hadn't gone back to it since its release. And I think it's better than the stuff that he's put out recently, but you know, still. It's no, if you're reading this, it's too late.
It's not that. I mean, you're so happy in your relationship, Mike. You don't like none of this toxic shit.
I need to go back and listen to it again.
How about this? I mean,
is he the top guy in hip hop? Like, period. I mean, can we even say that?
For people who say that, it's like I just qualify and quantify, so to speak, like what it means to be at the top differently. Like to me, the top is like when literally all the other people are looking at you as the man and as the MC, and it's like that's the guy right now. Like
Jay-Z in 01, like Wayne in 08, or like Kanye in 05. Like, that's what that means to me. Like,
no, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Or T.I. in 06.
No, like, 88 Rakim, 94 Nas, 95 Pac, 97 Big. You feel what I'm saying? Like that guy where it's like, you see this motherfucker, right? Like, you listen to these records, and you see this dude out here. Yes, like that. And so it's like, so when people are like, you know, Drake or Kanye, it's like, no, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's like, no, like the music gotta be there. When I'm talking 94 Nas, I'm talking Illmatic. When I'm talking 95 Pac, I'm talking All Eyes on Me. When you're talking 08, when you're talking with Carter 2 and 3.
No, Carter 3. Yeah, and when I'm talking about
2 and 3, like, just need to roll it all together with all the fucking mixtapes and all the shit, just the whole run. Yeah. It's really 07 for me. That's stunting like my daddy time. Yeah. Stunting like daddy time is peak Wayne to me. That's 07.
He's out rapping everybody on the mainstream specifically, and he's putting in the work. And it's just like, this is what I'm going to say. And this is what makes it difficult for me to say Drake is the top guy. I never hear Drake really out rap people like that.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? And for me, the rapping part is important.
No, I mean, 01J is out rapping everybody but Nas. It's just not, his songs are better than Nas's songs, like briefly around that time in terms of what's being released. You feel what I'm saying?
The Kanye thing is a little different because Kanye's not only putting out Late Registration, he's producing B. You know what I mean? So it's like
different. Like, how about this? The way that they talk about Drake, since you're bringing up B, we've never talked about Common that way. And Common has had moments multiple times, like where he's been like,
what year would you say Common was the best rapper in the game? 05?
B.
Yeah. I think B is one of the best hip hop albums of the 2000s. I've always said that B is better than the Blueprint, and that's high praise for me.
I agree, though.
It's Your World is just there's only one song I don't really like that much on B, and it was one of the singles, and that was Testify. I didn't really love Testify. Probably the sample just got annoying. But it's a great storytelling record, and they needed a storytelling record to make that album complete. So,
I mean, B is very. How about this? I feel the way about B the way I feel about The Moment of Truth by Gang Starr.
Because the thing is, if you want to sit here and compare B and the Blueprint, let's just say,
you don't want to go so long.
For me, the Blueprint doesn't. I can't say the Blueprint's better because it has Jigga that nigga Jigga, Ola
Just it
Ovito.
was good.
Yeah, Ola Ovito, and I don't feel like Renegade fits, right? So if you want to sit here and say the highlights or you don't know, the Heart of the City, you could easily, and I think You Don't Know is a better record, but it wouldn't be crazy if somebody said The Corners was better than You Don't Know, right?
Corner might be the corner is Commons made you look in a
Yeah,
lot of
it
ways.
is. Or
Yeah,
if you want to sit there and talk about a record like Heart of the City, you really could throw Shy City on that, honestly. But if you want to be
or they
fair,
say
yeah, or The Food.
that's what I mean.
And this is a heavy album. Like the
It is.
highlights on B,
You want to know
The
what I?
Food is epic.
How about
And the
this?
fact they used the live performance from the Dave Chappelle show, it's epic.
I love that. Let me.
Yeah.
This is what's more special about B than the blueprint to me. It's moments like, well, let's go to
I think we're already getting to our top 10 conversation, sounds like. We're starting in the 2000s.
let's go. Let's go to track 4 on both of the respective albums, and I'll tell you why. Faithful
Yeah,
versus Girls, Girls, Girls.
yeah.
You feel? Now
Yeah,
go
it's
listen to
different.
Faithful now as a grown man, and go listen to Girls, Girls, Girls
It's
now. And tell
different.
me the song has more staying power, actually, even though
Yeah.
one was a single, one wasn't. Tell me what the actual better record is, though.
You're
You
right.
feel? And that's the thing about B.
And then you talk about
He
Mama
made
Loves
timeless
Me.
music on B. They
Yeah.
made timeless music on B.
And then you think about Mama Loves Me and It's Your World. Like
That's
It's
what
Your
I mean. They
World is
made
just a
timeless
better
music
record.
like, and even when I mean it's timeless, you can even look at Common and laugh now. Black men walking with white girls on their arms. I'll be mad at them as if I know they moms. It's like, oh, how funny the tables have turned. Next.
NR with the super chat says, did y'all see Hit Boy say that he's confused Kendrick has only worked with him once? Academic said Backseat Freestyle is a highlight of his show. That is interesting. I
I
think
didn't even know
Backseat.
he did Backseat Freestyle.
Yeah.
They went, can I tell you something? Like, Backseat Freestyle, I don't know if it's the best beat on Good Kid, Mad City, because that might be Money Trees.
I was just listening to both of those records yesterday, and yes, it's Money Trees.
Okay, I would probably put Backseat Freestyle or the real beat second, but
What about Mad City?
no, but yes, I mean like not saying like it's not
I don't know. Mad City's actually my personal favorite.
beat or song. I'm not talking about song. I'm talking about beat.
Okay.
Right. That's why it's like no for me beat wise on there it's Money Trees and Backseat Freestyle really. You know what I mean? But why would you? It's very The World Is Yours, Pete Rock, like just not quite the same level. You know what I mean? It's like, hold on, you ain't doing another record with him?
Seems
And
really
that's-
political. This is my thing with Kendrick, though.
Hold on, let me finish
Go
this.
ahead.
And also, too, like, well, that's Cali shit too, Mike. Hit Boys from IE. I used to live in Corona and Riverside. IE means Inland Empire. Like Cali sectioned off funky, but it's like everybody knows how it works. It's like so, like where it hits at, which is like Fontana. I think it's probably like maybe 2 hours from LA, maybe an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, no, that's still SoCal shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's like, oh, well, like, really? Kind of like how, like, Mount Vernon and Queens isn't, like, close. But it's like, no. Like, it's still on some New York shit, though. Like, it's the same thing going on. Even with the producer. The producer kind of lives out in the area that's further from, like, the city. And the artist is, like, in the city. It's, like, the same shit.
I think Kendrick kind of works in his own bubble. You know what I mean? Kind of like really Andre 3000 is. And it's interesting when you have artists. Well, Andre, he produced some. But when you have artists like Kendrick who actually kind of work with in their bubble and with their circle with Soundwave and things like that, it's interesting that he's not a producer specifically. So I think that if you work with him or want to work with him, you have to get into that. You have to get into that cycle, or you have to get into that circle of whatever he's working with or whatever he's working on.
Mm-hmm. It should reflect. Like, the music should reflect you insulating yourself like that. It needs to reflect.
Jay Short with the super chat says, "Happy holidays, fellas. Sorry if you covered it, but did you see the Complex review? Complex review where it says Nas and Hit Boy were just above competent. That's an indictment. Just above competent. Complex was wilding on that review, man. And the fact that they didn't even have the balls to go out there and put a rating on it, it's like, come on, Complex. You could do better than that. Like, what is the problem, man? Why can't people just give credit where credit's due when it comes to this individual artist? Burn Hollywood, burn. Andre Shashir says, let me get through these super chats and we'll go on to this top 10 conversation because I like where we're going with this whole B in the blueprint. Andre Shashir says, Nas talked about owning parts of the song on his disc on Stillmatic. Yes, he did. But I don't think a lot of people knew that's what he was talking about. I count dough off when you sample my voice. Jay Short with the super chat says Nas would have killed the goddamn and Mr. Me Too beats. I would have loved to have heard Nas over Mr. Me Too. That would have been interesting. What say you, Coop? Niggas is haters. I'm doing deals like the niggas.
I love Mr. Me because that's how I have no fury.
I like the goddamn beat, but I like Mr. Me Too beat better though.
Me too, but it's like I love what they did with. See, for me, like I love some records in a way that it's like no, I love the way that record lives by itself. Even though like I could hear Nas on it, but it's like I love what Malice and Pusha did to that.
Oh, of course.
One at a time better clock us. Niggas like the style from the shoes to the watches. We clown hoppers, tailor suits like we mobsters. Break down keys and the dimes and sell them like gobstoppers. Who gonna stop us? Not a goddamn one of you. Mean with the re-up, nigga, we street tumblers. Oh no, they crazy on
No, this is the thing though, and this is why what they did with Clips stands out so much. The Neptunes are really hip hop heads. Like you could tell when Pharrell did that mixtape with Drama, he did that Gangsta Grill, he was rapping over nothing but RZA beats. But see, they're such hit makers. When it comes to an artist like Nas and what their budget used to be, I think they used to charge like $150,000 a beat. At that point, I need a hit, nigga. We're not gonna go out here making no, fourth chambers or something. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when they actually did spot production, they were forced to make hit records because of what their price tag was. They didn't get an opportunity to really just make a full effort for an artist like that where they could go in and do some introspective, hardcore shit. Because I'm sure they had records like Pussy in the Chamber for Nas or like Mr. Me Too, but the record label's not paying you $150,000 for that track.
See, but this is what I'm saying. But in 2005, 2006, if Nas is on that record, yes, they will.
I don't know, man. You need a hit, man. Like, you need to be able to recoup that. I'm sorry. If I'm Nas and that's in the budget, I'm not going to go out there and spend $150,000 on a record that's not going to be a hit.
I feel you, but
because I gotta pay for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that's why Hell Have No Fury is so special to me too. Like, it's really the only hip hop album that I really ever felt like that they really dug in and crafted. Because even when they're making Lord Willin', they're making Lord Willin' after they're hot already.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
They've already picked up steam. It seems like what happened was the Clips label situation, put them in certain digressions.
It's a top 10 album in the 2000s?
No. I'm just mean like, how about this? You make a song like Grinding, so people stop doing it.
Right.
And when you make an album that goes like gold and sells like 800,000, but the way the label business works and the way your numbers work as producers now, these artists really haven't recouped from that. And they're like, well, I can just keep on doing, what I was doing before I was rapping. See, these guys know each other, not just musically, but personally. That might make that producer go, you want to know what? No, we about to sit y'all down and give y'all some heat. Cut the shit.
Right.
Marquez
Davis with the super chat says, Still Ain't Forgave Myself was my ish, though. Yeah. Still Ain't Forgave Myself was actually the first T.I. song I ever heard on that snippet CD where his godmother gave me, right when he got signed. DJ Mars was talking over it, too. Shout out to Mars. Deontay Smith with the super chat says, Wayne's progression from the Carter 1 to the Carter 2 is up there as well as in well terms of a great jump. I would say more so 500 Degrees to the Carter 1. That's the jump.
No, that Carter. I mean, for me, the Carter 2 is his peak as an actual MC at the time around that. So it's like I'm with either jump. How about this?
Nah, the jump from 500 Degrees, man. He went from The Way of Life to Birdman Jr. Like, nah, it was a big jump.
I don't like 500 Degrees, but I do like The Block is Hot, Mike.
Block is Hot is, it's a hot boy effort.
Block is in the actual song, The Block is Hot. No, he had some stuff on there.
I mean, it's like Manny's kind of the star.
And he didn't curse on The Block is Hot except for Fuck the World. And I really liked that he actually made an album like that was like dope and gangster, and he did it without cursing, a la Rakim.
Yeah. Jay Short with the Super Chat says, let's be honest, if Drake and Travis dropped in the same day, Drake would push his date back. So he can't be the top guy. I don't know if that's true, but hey, I like you saying that because I think that Travis, I'll say this, Travis' musical output, as far as like how his shit comes across sonically, it could drown out anything that Drake makes. Even though Drake might do his numbers still, sonically it's not going to be what Travis's output is. And that's just real. Because look, can you imagine if Astro World and Scorpion came out on the same day? Which album are we talking about?
Right.
Yeah. LP with the Super Chat says, Magic and KD3 are top 5 albums in the 2020s. If somebody threw KD2 in there, I wouldn't be mad at that. Only Alfredo and Pray for Paris come close in my opinion. All of those actually might be in this top 10 so far. And again, we're only like, 3 years in. LP with the Super Chat says, Nas has dropped better music than Jay since 01, in my opinion. A lot of people say he dropped better music than him before that. Mad Max with the Super Chat. Shout out to Mad Max in the building. He said, Drake is the guy still. He's the person all the young people view as the top. I mean, K-Dot has been getting at Drake because Drake is viewed as the top artist of the 2010s. I think people in this generation, especially the youth, view Drake as people viewed Jay in the 2000s. The early 2000s. Mad Max says 50 at one point was the top guy. He was never the top rapper, even when he was at his peak. I was like 7. All the kids say Banks was better, and we was like 7. Mr. Holmes says KD is is on pre-sale for vinyl at Mass Appeal.